good morning, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, it truly does mean the world to me. But with that being said, what are we talking about? We're talking about Quant Network, but also a little bit of XRP, XLM, XDC, IOTA, HBAR, and any other compliant project that is out there in the realm of Web3. Okay, you guys, follow me on this. But before we get started, I want to thank each and every single one of you for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for being a part of the community and supporting the channel. I appreciate all of y'all. We're on the road to 4,000 and I couldn't be more excited. Okay, you guys, but we're hopping in. I have been telling you guys now consistently about the institutional capital that's getting ready to start flowing through these networks. I even brought you Gilbert Verdian talking about the institutional internet of value, which is that internet of literally money being able to be sent from one to another within seconds via the internet. Okay, this whole upgrade, us being ushered into the fourth industrial revolution, because y'all, it's happening right now in 2025. The onboarding, the adoption, it's happening right now in 2025. Okay, you guys, I promise you. But to only confirm that even more, when you have a person who has a seat at the table or have a seat in bigger rooms than where you can sit in at this point in time, then you should always sit back and listen and try to learn something or see something from a different perspective. We had another IPO of a crypto company, an exchange, happen. You guys, follow me on this. Bullish, okay? We had the CEO of Bullish on the actual mainstream news talking about the IPO, but more importantly, talking about the political climate that we sit in as far as distributed ledger technology / blockchain is concerned, with things like the Genius Act and the Clarity Act, but also the overwhelming institutional capital that's getting ready to start flowing through these networks. This is a man that has a company that is literally set up for this thing to happen. Listen to what he's saying. It's no coincidence that when that IPO was like over $1 billion something. Truly see the alignment that is happening. And by America signing comprehensive regulation now alongside of other parts of the world that already have comprehensive regulation either in place or actively working to have it in place by a certain time frame, 2025. Follow me on this, you guys, okay? I'm always going somewhere. And these compliant projects that I talk about on my channel, that the other people talk about, literally value of Web3 will flow through these public ledgers and operating systems that are tied to global standards and internet protocols and countries' real-time gross settlement systems and central bank ledgers and commercial bank ledgers. That's the entire economy, you guys. What money doesn't flow through some type of bank? Like, really think about it. Even if it's a private bank, a public bank, whatever the case may be. Follow me on this, okay? So here is some from the CEO of Bullish, and I will be right back.
Crypto trading platform, backed as well by Peter Thiel. Joining us now ahead of the first trade is its CEO, Tom Farley. Good to have you back, Tom.
Fellas, great to see you. So good to be back after too long.
Let's talk about Bullish. Your focus, as we said, is on institutional investors. I think I want to make sure that's correct. But, the differentiation your platform has versus Coinbase or Binance, can you explain that in terms of why you've gone that road and why that is a growth path?
Yeah, great question. So we operate an exchange, and then we operate a data business that also has CoinDesk,
yes,
media outfit, and a conference business. And we wake up every day saying, how can we service institutions throughout our organization? We have over 1,000 customers, which is quite a number in the crypto space, which is still growing. And, it feels like this may be a good time for crypto because you see the Genius Act coming out of Congress. the Clarity Act that came out of the House are providing an easy on-ramp for institutions to drive into crypto. The last leg of growth in crypto, the last 10 years, was basically all retail. And if you look now, the institutional wave has begun. It's here. It's a question of how big it will be. But just based on the reception we've gotten thus far as part of our IPO, it feels like institutional investors think this could be the moment.
Well, it feels like every day we have another capital raise for a company that's following the MicroStrategy strategy of selling stock to buy some underlying, whether it's Ethereum or Bitcoin. We've got stable coins all over the place. I mean, how big do you think it will be ultimately? And, in terms of when you point to investors and your opportunity here in this ecosystem, what kind of a potential growth rate are we talking about?
Well, I think the opportunity is absolutely gigantic. And let me describe. Up to this point, there's been tokenization that hasn't really been much of anything to speak of. It's you keep the traditional finance stack and you create a token that's sort of a contractual right to what already exists, and then you put out a press release. But the Congress has really created a path with this establishment of a mature blockchain in the Clarity Act, where you can imagine regulators saying, you can just issue your stock on a public blockchain. You can just issue your treasury on a public blockchain. The title to your house can be on a public blockchain, as long as that blockchain is trustworthy and free from attack and isn't under the collusive control of one or multiple parties. That opportunity is the financial markets. And I do think, look, it may turn out this is a moment of special exuberance. I mean, you see Coinbase was the largest exchange in the world by market cap. Certainly the Circle IPO, the stock was up, you guys know better than me, 11 times, 12 times. It may turn out to be exuberance, but what the market is telling us is that potential isn't so crazy anymore. We may see major markets and major institutional players move massive asset classes onto blockchain. As you guys know better than anyone, at this place where we sit, massive change only comes about if there's technological enhancements and regulatory approval.
Right.
Now, y'all just heard the first part of that interview. Truly understand and see, this is his company is literally setting up the processes in exchange for institutional capital to start flowing through it. Like he even said, retail has front run this whole thing. Truly understand and see that all of this, from Bitcoin's inception up until this point right now, it's been a 15, 16 year span. All of this has been retail. Truly understand and see what's happening right now. And now for the first time, because countries are now getting laws to favorably govern over distributed ledger technologies, i.e. blockchain, and everything that blockchain can do, whether that's tokenization, whether that is stable coins, whether that is building out your supply chain, whether that is literally your medical records in your hospitals, whether that's your police reporting or your fire or ambulance reporting, all of these things are moving to blockchain, you guys, because it is an immutable ledger. And once you couple that immutable ledger with a technology like a hedera that can actually do real-time time stamping, understand and truly see the infrastructure of what's being laid right now. HBAR has something called legal finality with their transactions. Now, some people can do fast transactions, but does it have legal finality? Truly understand what is being laid out. This is why you see hedera talking with governments, and you have things like country smart meters being ran on hedera because they have legal finality within seconds. You have things like NVIDIA and Intel doing their verifiable compute with their AI processes at the chip level on hedera. Why? Because their transactions have legal finality. Meaning I can use this in any courtroom to prove any case because it is on an immutable ledger. That coupled that with that immutable ledger capabilities, it also has the technology built into it and the security level on top of that gives it legal finality. Truly see how these things are going to be used in massive levels, massive levels. Not to mention that things like quant and a quant flow, man, quant at this point in time has mentioned so many different blockchains now having integrations with quant flow. The last three was like Hedera, Sui, and another one. I got a video coming out about it. Follow me. Yes, Hedera. Why? Because Overledger is just that. It is the Overledger. It sits over every blockchain, every layer 1, every layer 2 that will ever exist. But it did not stop there. It also sits on top of every other traditional network in the world and seamlessly integrates them together. This is why Gilbert Verdi is calling it the institutional internet of value, because it is going to be truly trusted by institutions. That's why things like a secure asset transfer protocol, the things that I talk about in my videos, the things I show you guys, this is why these things matter, because we now are getting laws, standards, internet protocols for Web3 to be onboarded with massive amounts of institutional capital by the trillions. I'm not just saying numbers. I'm being honest and sitting right here in 2025 and watching this video in 2025. And you see that the market today is not great. It's not, I think Quant's at like 106. I think Hedera's at like 24 cents or something like that. They're doing all right. But just overall, Bitcoin's at like 115, like 115,000. Just really see where we are right now in 2025, where we're just months away from comprehensive regulation in America being a reality for the entire sector of Web3 with the Clarity Act. That is what that does. That is that foundation so you can now start operating in the realm of distributed ledger technologies, i.e. blockchain, safely, securely. You have our blessings. Go play. Truly see what's happening right now. But I got a little bit more coming from that interview, because just so you can really hear how many times and how much he's talking about how much institutional capital. This is someone who is working with the institutions, letting us know that the institutional capital is coming. Follow me on this. I'll be right back.
You there, because you're saying something important that people may not fully understand. You seem to believe that stocks and bonds at some point may trade as tokens.
I do, but I'm pragmatic, David, and I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. These things happen slowly, but suddenly. But that is what the market is telling us. I've met with 80 investors. I've met with CEOs of the major TradFi exchanges, and everyone is talking about it now and saying, hey, what's the path? Because it's feeling more real now. And you have, by the way, you have a head of the SEC who made a comment. Crypto and America have one thing in common: freedom. So you have a regulator who's actively looking to promote blockchain technology because it is more transparent, it's more efficient, it's more secure. So that's the opportunity. The opportunity is enormous. I'm not telling your viewers that's happening overnight, but that is the opportunity.
Right. So if the regulation's gotten more clear, is it the tech that now needs to catch up?
Yeah, well, it's the regulation. So in this country, nothing has changed yet with the regulations, right? The Genius Act has just passed. In fact, Congress said, SEC, OCC, CFTC, go away and make the rules. It's still early, and the rest of the world, it's creeping in. Right. This is going to take time, Carl, but it's really exciting.
You think foreign governments are as bullish about this whole space as we are?
Absolutely. I mean, the MiCA regulation throughout Europe and Hong Kong. Can I share one other thing about our IPO, just to perhaps break a little bit of news here? One thing that we did in our IPO that's a bit different, we allocated 3 million of our 30 million shares to retail.
Just going to ask you that, because Reddit is filled with people who got 10 shares. He's very excited.
So we had billions in demand from that segment. I think the total number, don't hold me to this, of total demand approached 30 billion. And we looked at it and we said, we want to break the mold here, and we want retail to participate. We think retail is underestimated with respect to their sophistication. And so we went with a full, I said 3 million. I'm sorry, it was 6 million.
Okay. Right.
It was 6 million.
So
we
almost
allocated
20%.
It was over
Yeah.
20%.
That's great.
And we just feel like, I mean, frankly, just selfishly, retail may be the marginal price setter, right? But we also think they're underestimated in terms of their sophistication. So that's one thing that we've done differently here with Bullish IPO.
Now you guys just heard directly from a person who just literally put on the world stage a global institutional crypto exchange, talking about the institutional capital that's getting ready to flow through these networks. And I understand that the price is not where none of us want it to be today. I want to say today is the 19th of August of 2025. But understand that, y'all, we are so close to the true onboarding, the gate opening up for Web 3.0, literally distributed ledger technologies, as they want to call it, but what we call it is blockchain. And their new favorite term is now on-chain. Like, it's so funny to hear in all these official documents saying, and we're going to prove this process on-chain, and this process on-chain. This process is now currently off-chain, but we're looking at migrating it on-chain. It's like, really, you guys? This is where we are in 2025. So now understand and see where 2026 and 2027 and 2028 and 2020 and 2030, 2035, where we're going to be in the realm of distributed ledger technologies, as we're going to have this flood. It's going to be a flood. I'm telling y'all, this first wave is going to be insane. Then it's going to be a stable out. Then it's going to be a gradual up. Think about when things like the gold ETF was first launched. They had like a 10-year bull market. Like, truly understand and see until it finally leveled out. And it looks like we're getting ready to get another bull market in gold, because if the Fed does what it's trying to do, well, really, it's not even just the Fed, it's also the government. But anyway, they're trying to get gold basically reassessed to current day market value. Now, understand, right now it's sitting at something like $40. I'm going to say an ounce or something along those lines, like, well, wherever the number is. Current day market value is $3,000+ Understand, if they get that let's just call it an appraisal done, that's all it is just numbers being changed in the screen, that it was worth this and now it's being worth this. It truly crazy, an appraisal. But anyway, if they get this reallocation and appraisal done, it is getting ready to open up so much capital in this country, because what that means is they can then technically, since they have more money on the balance sheets because they have to stay neutral, that they can now loan out way more money to banks, which means that gives banks the green light to start funding loans, which then trickles down into us. But truly understand and see, even when all of these processes are happening and they're all currently moving on the blockchain, all of these transactions will be via blockchain. You heard the man talk about people tokenizing their homes. We're talking about regular, everyday people that have no clue right now in 2025 what crypto is. They don't have any clue what a stable coin is. I'm telling y'all, I promise you, anybody who doesn't live in America, who has an American friend, reach out to them and ask them, do they know what the Genius Act is? Most of America have no clue. The Genius Act is law. I'm telling y'all, what is happening right now is going under the nose of almost 99% of America, because most of America thinks crypto is fringe. They think crypto is a scam and they stay away from it because that is what the news has been feeding them for the past 4 years. It is now on the infancy of that tide changing in the media. But most of the people out there are not tuned in. They do not know a stable coin is coming. They have no clue the things that we know. They have no clue about a hedera and all the governing council members. They have absolutely no clue that Quant Network is tied to things like a central bank of the ECB, and the Bank of England, and has ties back to the Federal Reserve of America and multiple other central banks out there. They have no clue about these things. I'm not just talking to y'all and saying this. I live here and I'm being for real. I have real conversations with people from all races, all genders, all creeds, all colors. Nobody knows about the Genius Act. Nobody knows about the comptroller of currency, Rodney E. Hood, and what he just said about banks having a green light for crypto. Nobody knows this stuff. We are ahead of 99%. I'm telling y'all. And to understand the players that are cementing themselves in infrastructure with things like hedera, verifiable compute, they're shooting to have hedera be literally the language for AI. Understand what I just said. They're shooting to have hedera be the language, which means that when all of AI is being verifiably computed on, literally, they're shooting for that standard to be hedera. We're talking global AI, verifiable compute. Y'all are not understanding when people say certain words, people we need to really start taking in and listen, as opposed to listening just to response. We need to really start listening to actually take in and receive what's really being told to us, because it's all being told to us directly in our faces. And most of us are asleep at the wheel and not paying attention. I'm being so for real, you guys. I have conversations and I enlighten so many people on just my everyday journey. I have people, they don't even know what even the Fed now is. They have no clue that the U.S. Federal Reserve has a system that is being set up that's going to run 365 days, 7 days a week, no more holidays, no more weekends, no more banking hours, the instant payment and the instant settlement of money. Most Americans have no clue. I promise you. They have no clue that it even exists. They will only be adopted into the technology. They won't know what's running. Only thing they'll know is that the money that they're getting now paid is in a stable coin, and it is cheaper to move it. And it's faster to move it. And they say it's safe now and it's regulated by the government. That's all they're going to know. I'm telling y'all. That's all they're going to care about, to be honest. And I'm not even being real. I mean, I'm being for real. That's all going to care about. So for you to be sitting right here, you're special. For you to be listening to me right now in 2025, August 19th, and understanding what a quant, what a hedera, what a XRP or an XLM, an XDC, what a Ripple is, because even a Ripple decides to IPO. Understanding what that is and getting into that early, because you already see what's already been built out globally as far as their network is concerned. Like, truly see that we sit and we have information that is truly, truly valuable. Now, whether or not we have enough gall to weather the storm, I can't answer that. I've had a lot of people talking about they selling that quant. That's on you, dude. You gonna be the one talking about I messed up. I don't care. You can sell it all, or you can buy it all. It's your decision. It's your portfolio. Okay. So if you decide to make certain moves into whatever you want to make based off of price not moving the way you want to move, I promise you, once it starts to move, you won't be able to catch it, because we're going to have institutional money flowing into these networks by the trillions. Y'all, get ready. This is going to be an incredible next few years. Incredible. Okay. I appreciate y'all. And the end of this was a little bit of a rant too. I promise you, I appreciate y'all. And if you made it all the way through this entire video, type in the word capital. Because the institutional capital that's getting ready to flow through all of these networks is going to be mind-blowing. Till the next time, y'all already know. Type in capital. I appreciate y'all. For real, I do. Peace out.